I very recently had someone ask me if I thought that the COVID era helped or hurt the beard product industry. And I really loved that question. It wasn't something that I really dialed in and focused on before. So I wanted to take a dive and really give you guys my thoughts with some reflection on it. And I would love to share those in this video. One thing though that I take a lot of pride in is this channel and the community surrounding it. We don't dive into drama or negativity or silly arguments that don't accomplish anything. So if you could, I'm asking you to leave politics out of this. I understand that this is a slippery conversation and could get away from a lot of people, but we can prove right here on this video, on this channel, that we can talk about these topics and not have to go into politics, not have to go into arguments, buzzwords, finger pointing. I have absolutely no interest in any of that. So that is one thing that I am going to ask you guys. But I am going to share my answer with 3 reasons why right now, give a little introduction after that, and then dive back into the details before we wrap it up with a conclusion. The 3 reasons I believe the COVID era helped the beard product industry, a net positive. Now I understand there's a whole lot of negatives that have come with the COVID era and the quarantines and all that stuff. Again, we're not here for that today. I'm talking about the beard product industry and how it was impacted by that time. Number 1, I believe more people were able to grow beards because they were at home and or behind a mask. They're able to get through that awkward early phase and really give themselves a chance before they gave up too early. Number 2, I do believe many industries had to rethink their policies on facial hair because of recruiting and retention, such as law enforcement and teaching. And then rule number 3, or reason, not a rule, reason number 3 is I believe it shook up a lot of society, especially people my age and older that are working, and it made them reevaluate their work and personal balance, their work life and their home life and what they really valued. And I think really good things came out because of that, such as personal expression with facial hair. Now, I'll get into more details and explain my thoughts here, and I can't wait to hear your guys' down in the comments, especially after you hear my reasoning on it. If you guys are excited to discuss this and have this amazingly positive conversation, hit a quick thumbs up, aka the like button. And if you like talking about beards and beard products and keeping it a safe place, consider subscribing if you're not already. Shout out to those returning subscribers. You guys are the absolute best. So reason number 1, I believe the COVID era was good for the beard product industry, good for YouTube channels like mine in general, I can admit that, was just simply people were able to grow beards. They were able to try to grow beards. There's a huge barrier of entry of getting to a beard like this, and it's the start. People fear going to work and having someone say something like, "What's that on your face? You got dirt on your face." I don't know what that accent is, but that's what they sound like. Or, "Is the barbershop closed? Did you forget your razor?" And they just don't like that attention. They don't like those comments, even though people usually don't even realize what they're saying. Sometimes people are just dumb, not to be rude, but they're just dumb. And so they're like, something different. I see different. I must make joke. Good one, Billy. Go back to your Excel spreadsheet over there. Let me worry about my facial hair. But people really do get worked up about that. When guys, let's say in their 30s, their 40s, their 50s, start growing facial hair for the first time, they do have some insecurities, and the last thing they want is it to be pointed out that something's different. That can be tough. They can get made fun of by their family members, by their friends outside of work. I totally get that. Working from home, many were like, "Hey, I don't need to shave today. Let me give this a shot." 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days in, they're like, "I kind of like this. This is growing in way better in my 30s than it was when I was a teenager. This is way better in my 40s. That's kind of cool." Same kind of concept for the mask. Now, a mask was not always a net positive. If you had a beard like mine and you wore a mask, we know the mask dips, and that was not good. That was not fun. But if you're just starting out and you have some stubble, that absolutely can give you that little bit of a window to the point where people, you see the mask come off, you're like, "Whoa, man, James has a beard. That looks great." And those early negative comments probably shift into positive ones. And that's awesome. That really let people grow the beard out without having to worry about those insecure moments or those kind of comments picking fun at them. Now, the second one I know for a fact. Many industries had to change their facial hair policy during COVID times and after COVID times because the workforce just didn't seem like the same. Law enforcement, I've talked to many law enforcement leaders, I guess you would say, I've actually worked with some and donated products and done all this stuff. They have now allowed facial hair on most law enforcement areas around the US, and don't even begin with like the Canadian military and all sorts of other militaries around the world that are allowing facial hair for the first time. And it was essentially, if we want to have the best people, we need to start allowing facial hair. We need to start allowing tattoos. These things can't stop us from limiting our recruitment of bringing in new people, but also our retention. There were a lot of people that were like, hey, you're not going to let me have a beard. You're not going to let me have a tattoo. I'm going to go find work elsewhere. This is ridiculous. So they have shifted. Teaching 100% has shifted in facial hair and is just normal and accepted. It was not 10 years ago. It was not 15 years ago. And I'm sure the same is in so many other industries. They had to, out of necessity, allow the facial hair. I'll take it any way we can get it. And then number 3, with this COVID change and people being at home, people seeing like, wow, I don't have to be in a cubicle all day. I don't have to just listen to every word from my boss. There can be some little bit of freedom that happens. Maybe I can go enjoy a lunch. Maybe I can grocery shop during the middle of the day. Maybe I can go see my kids at school. All these things came up and people are like, man, I can still do a great job at my career. I can still make my boss happy, but have a little bit of home life balance. And people started to evaluate things where they're like, I'm working for a job that tells me I have to shave my face and it has nothing to do with safety. I'm not talking about the safety jobs. That's separate. I hear you. I gotcha. But when it's just simply appearance, people started to look at where's why am I valuing my work more than my personal life, more than my home life, more than my personal expression and happiness? And they started to think about other jobs. They started to put the pressure on their own workplace and they're like, hey, I've been here for 20 years. Are you going to let me go because I'm growing out a beard that grows naturally? It's not a push-up bra. It's not makeup. This grows out of my face. And they started to demand those rights. And I love to see it. I'm here for it so much. So yeah, I believe we have more beards, more serious beards after the COVID era, at least that I see in America, and than before. And I absolutely love that we're able to get something positive out of an otherwise pretty negative situation. Let me know your thoughts down below for a conclusion. Did you see more beards? Maybe you grew a COVID beard and it has started then and has stayed since. Maybe that's the exact example that we're talking about here. I would love your reflection. Were there negative impacts? I'm sure there were. I don't want to super dwell on those, but we can acknowledge them for sure. Let me know your thoughts down below, you guys. Just a food for thought, thought-invoking video about the beard product industry and the ways things can come and go. Thank you guys for watching. My name's Dan C. Bearded. Please stay bearded and stay positive.